This is the new addition to our agenda, time for public comment. If anyone has anyone on any matter they'd like to speak on. No teachers or staff or anybody got anything? No public comment. We'll right into new business. We have some budget amendments before us.
You all do have a copy of this, and I'll try to go through explaining this. We were able to, and this was part of the other amendment that has already been done, but because I miscommunicated with Mr. Evans, his purchase didn't get made prior to June 30th when the deadline came about. So finance was willing to roll that money over and just needs to be pulled back out. It was already allotted, we already had the purchase order numbers and everything, but like I said, I miscommunicated, so we need to get that purchase. What we tried to do at the end of the school year is provide each school with $10,000 so that they could utilize that for the needs that they had, because that is a board requirement. We provide desks, chairs. I know one school bought some sound, what you call those things, Dr. Ferry or here? Sound boards for the cafeteria so that noise would not be as bad and things like that. So, but Minor Hill has some purchases and we'll get to work on those. We do have some gap year purchases, and that is part of, that information was there. The textbook order form, just to give us an idea. If you all remember, the Department of Education changed the adoption cycles from 6 years to 8 years. So we have a couple of gap years. And the estimate, and Mrs. Horn, Ms. Timms, has worked really hard on this for a long time. And I know the other supervisors have assisted as well. But we're still waiting on one other quote, but we do need to move ahead so that we can purchase the information and the items that we need. So that's what that's for. We asked for $330,000 to be rolled out of fund balance so that we can purchase the social studies, science, information, math, and ELA, the necessary requirements. It was an oversight when we did budget planning. Mrs. Angus did not get the 2% raise added into our budget, so this is just fixing that oversight. So we also are asking that we pull $500,000. Mr. Eddie will be going over some needs that we have that are really crucial to be addressed. So that's what the $500,000 is for. That would be coming from fund balance as well. Then the Education Capital Project Fund, this is some carryover. Moving, it moved over into fund balance, and we're just moving it back out for us to be able to utilize. And then the transfers in if that is approved. And then the 178, again, that's just where it rolled into fund balance and will roll back out so that we can pay the bills that were already obligated prior to June 30th. The school and budget committee meetings are set for July 14th at 9 o'clock. And then county commission is July 20th, because all of this would have to go before them as well.
So our carryovers are kind of roll in, roll outs, and allotments, and then our additional transfers are either capital project needs or gap year needs on these textbooks, that small amount, 2% raise within your, the director of schools column.
Sorry, Miss Angus. Sorry, we did that.
That's pretty much what we're looking at here on it. Yeah, and this this is new to everyone, so, I do wanna, give everybody the floor if they need it. Is there a motion to approve this and then we can discuss?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. McAllister, seconded by, Mrs. McLeod. Is there any discussion or questions on this? In the end, changing these textbooks adoptions going from 6 to 8 ends up helping us, save money, right? But when we're caught up in those gap years, we've got to fill in, obviously.
Right. And that 330,000 accommodates for all the subject areas, rather than like one subject is generally 600 to 800,000, so. And part of that, if you noticed on that other sheet, was for 3 years, and that's why we have it on the agenda as a separate item. Some of these would be beyond the fiscal year that we're in, so it would require your approval and county court approval for us to make those purchases.
Any questions, concerns, discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. So the curriculum purchases for the gap years, to your point, Dr. Greer, that was what you were just referencing, correct?
Yes, and it would need a separate motion and second and approval as far as us being able to move forward.
Okay.
It's the same curriculum that we have now, nothing is changing about that, we just need the additional purchases.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. McLeod, second by Mr. Sumner. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2026, 2027 annual agenda.
If you do not have a copy of that, it is up here, I will get you a paper copy if you would like, or I can email you the, copy, either way it works. This is just our board meeting and work session schedule for the next year and the things that we should be doing at each meeting, July, just all that we have, approval of the annual agenda and instructional fee approval, and as we go through the policies and whatnot, sometimes we don't follow exactly what it might say, fiscal management. We might have others that come up that need pressing information or passing, so this is just our annual agenda, something that has to be presented to you every year. The training requirements, resources, and then any of the TSBA resources that we need. And I tried to accommodate when I set these meetings, like the fall district meeting is coming up September 17th. Then the TSBA conference is also going to impact a board meeting. Shifted those to a Tuesday just temporarily, so we'll just have to kind of see closer to the dates, how those would work out for everyone's schedule.
As we know, we can put a bill to schedule all we want. There will be some changes in there, but this gives us a good template.
It helps ensure that things, you know, that we have to do every year, you know, don't get overlooked in the rush of things.
Helps a lot.
Gives the general public, you know, schedule where they can come, you know, to meetings and stuff. Need a motion on that?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Saunders, seconded by Mr. McAllister. Is any additional discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 2026, 2027 school fees. every school has the base $20, activity fee, except for, Richland Elementary, there's a request for 25 there. Looks like they built some stuff out, and some field trip fees to get some coverage there as well. And then $20 Chromebook fee, and we are maxed at family rate, $50 per family. Again, we say this every year, it's not mandatory, but it's definitely, appreciated, recommended, suggested, however you want to say.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item E under new business, HVAC purchase for GCHS Fieldhouse. Mr. Thomas is here to speak with that.
You have a copy of that quote that is in your packet.
Yes, we would just like the opportunity to put HVAC in the field house that is used by all of our activities. Our booster club has jumped on board with that, ready to participate, as well as we have independent donors. So at no cost to the board, at no cost to the school. It's gonna come from outside and ready to make a move on that. We just wanted to show Mr. Eddie's got us a quote, got a couple quotes right there, and we wanna move forward with being able to do that, because every activity we have, cheerleaders, flag corps, soccer, indoor soccer, softball, baseball, football, basketball, everybody we have, goes in there throughout the night. There's people there right now. You saw them coming in while we were passing out food. There's somebody there all the time, and, having HVAC would, when we get to that heat index problem, it would allow the activities to continue on without changing our school schedule, which we have in the past, to try to stay away from the heat index. So that's where we at. Just wanna sit that out there, that we'd like to move forward with that.
It gets toasty in there. As someone who's been in there over the summer, it is hot. It is real hot.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, is there any discussion?
It's a good price, Chuck Eddie. That's a good price.
We're installed,
I know, but still, I
Yeah.
mean, just for the units.
yes.
Cause I did a little extra legwork
Yeah.
on that. I made a call. 'Cause my husband is in HVAC, and I was like, what type of price are we looking at, just for comparable, like,
Right.
you know? Cause I thought if we could get something cheaper, you know. I
And
would do my part to help out with that, but
Yeah.
that is a fantastic
Yeah.
price.
And the Athletic Booster Club is putting a chunk of money into that, because it's for all athletes, all students, or whatever, participating and acting in that building. And so they're coming off of a capital project for this year to do that, and they're putting a chunk of money.
Excellent work, everybody's part on that one.
Any additional questions, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome. Old business, capital projects, we've, been, we've kind of been going over this a little bit over these months, and, Chuck has put together some, roof, needs, some, stormwater runoff needs, some other
Right.
stuff, so Chuck, if you'd like to, discuss some of that, and just kind of tell us where you're at, and again, kind of in line with what's discussed at this time, move some.
Right now, the figures that I come up with, just as far as wants, needs, that mainly needs, that we need at multiple facilities. I would like to see us install an energy management system at Pulaski Elementary. I think we can save, it's recently been, or being remodeled. The system that's there is antiquated, so while we were at our TSPMA conference, I saw some stats that we could install cheap. So basically for $20,000, I could do the whole old part of the building. And the only other thing I would have to do is get Lee Company to draw up the software to manage it. And that's who did Giles County High and Bridgeforth. And I can get on, change times, temperatures, whatever I wanna do. But for 20,000, we get 50 stats put in the whole part of the building. They're roughly $400 a piece, but they're, like I said, they will run off the network. We got a price or a estimate for like fixing the drainage at Minor Hill School from the cafeteria down toward the gym so it doesn't flood and go in the old front entrance. I've got it here, I think it was like 32,000. We've got some washing in the back of the building that's really needs a slab. If we put gravel there, it's just gonna wash right back out, so it really needs a slab put there. So I was figuring just, I know I can do it less than 18, but just roughly 18,000, so that gets us at 50,000 for that at Minor Hill. The drainage issues at Elkton, if I can do the ones at Minor Hill for 50, I'm sure we can do the ones at Elkton for 50. That would take care of any runoff water. The parking lot pitches toward the building at Elkton. That would get that area fixed, and also what doesn't go there goes off the hill toward the end of pre-K. And the doors are more or less ground level, so any water that runs off that hill, we've sealed the doors, now it's coming up through the floor tile, it's still going up, under and coming up, so, but that's, I'm thinking we could do that for 50 as well. The painting, you know, they've had some estimates of around 13 for painting, the facade, some trim paint to kind of spruce up the outside. They're wanting some carpet in the band room at GCHS, trying to redo that and put down carpet squares where they can be replaced as they get dirty rather than the whole thing having to be replaced. The door hardware that we talked about before, where they're recommending us change them because they can be changed from the inside. I put that on as well. There's 12 doors at Richland. There's 8 doors at Elkton. So I can do them for $1,000 a piece, so that's $20,000. The roofing, the same company that came and did the roofing estimate on, as far as, they called it a restoration. They go through and try to get that roof in as good a shape as they possibly can get. Elkton's quote was like 29,000, I think, and that was the initial restoration of the roof. I had the same thing done at Richland Elementary. The worst place we have at Richland Elementary is the center section of the roof. That's the flattest part. It's right over the front entrance, right in front of the office, the library. That section alone was 16, and then the other parts of the building were 30. We're not having as much trouble in the other parts of the building. So that complete restoration came in at 46. Just as a, and I'll tell you this, I didn't have enough time to print it out, but I pulled the email up, maybe it'll still be loaded. They didn't do a walkthrough or walk around like they did at Elkton and Richland Elementary. But they did, from satellite views, took square footage, what kind of shape our roofs have generally been in, and they gave us an estimate on Giles County High. They said 30 to 40,000. Pulaski Elementary, 15 to 20,000. Bridgeforth, 20 to 25,000. Minor Hill, 15 to 20. I didn't do Richland Elementary because we're talking about trying to do renovations there. If we get, I mean Richland High, if we do Richland High, that will not have to have any restoration to it. Southside's got a less than 10-year-old standing seam metal roof. We don't have any problems there. So I didn't include the 30,000. But if we do the other 6 buildings and average 30,000 at each building, 180,000 should restore all of the buildings here. Now I've got 2 more companies that have already given us quote, or not given us quotes yet, but they've been and visited Richland Elementary. I told them I want basically the same thing. I want a restoration, get it up to snuff, get it up to par, fix any problems you see. I want pictures showing what problems they find. I can compare one company to another. So I've got 2 other companies. I've got Don Kennedy Roofing, who we've used in the past, out of Nashville, and also Coriel Roofing. And I got Coriel to do a cost on roof replacement at Richland High. So if we do get into that part, we'll be able to say, well, you know, Wold and Brindley said they figured this much for the roof. If we can do it for half of that and go through Coriel, I suggest we do that. I mean, they're looking at the full replacement there. They're giving me a price on that, and then they're also giving me a quote on restoration at Richland Elementary and Don Kennedy at Richland Elementary, and then I already have Weather Shield's quote for Richland Elementary. So once I get all of those together, we'll have a better idea on whether this is really a good price, or we could get it done for less, or this is half the price that other companies would charge. So this will give us a little bit better of an idea. I'm just waiting on their figures to come back, cause they did it at the end of last week, and I have not received they'll have to get a binder together just like this with pictures and, you know, type it all up. It'll take them a couple of weeks, but as soon as I get that back, I'll have that information. But that all comes up to between 335 and 350,000. That leaves us some for any future needs. I know Dr. Geary's mentioned maybe doing some painting at different places. And we can always run into other things that we need that capital project money for. And that's not to say this cannot be changed, or what I've got typed up can be changed. That's just right off the top of my head, things that I know that we need and would like to see be done out of the capital projects.
So on a buffer, you're saying about 450 to get all the schools up to par, possibility?
No.
I mean, not counting the Richland, but everything.
Not counting Richland, I didn't add those others up, but it was 46 at Richland Elementary, 30 at Elkton, and the others, Giles County High was the highest, and this is not an actual, they did a satellite and said probably between 30 and 40, and then Minor Hill and Plastic Elementary were between 15 and 20. So I'm gonna say an average of 30,000 per school, and only 6, if we do Richland High, only 6 will need that 30,000. Now, if we don't, we could spend some of that money in doing Richland High. It's probably gonna be higher than the others, but try to do what we can.
I just like to protect whatever we can
Right.
on that roof, cause
Right.
whatever we do on the bottom, but we don't have a top, it's
Right.
going down, you know?
Well, and we're recognizing that in what the studies we've already done at Richland High, Richland School, it needs roof repair, not refurbishment.
Right.
And so, just to make sure that people understand.
Well, and of course, this company gave me a price. Richland Elementary has less of a life expectancy than Elkton. When they walked the roof, this company said, 3 to 5 years. Elkton's 5 to 7. Before we need to start budget, really looking at doing a complete recode or whatever. This company, Weather Shield, said they estimated, and they said they did build it up a little bit, but if we went in and completely re-roofed Richland Elementary, $450,000. And that's a complete going over. And that's putting TPO on it, which is like a thermoplastic. What they do, they'll go in and put down, it's not really an insulation board, but it is. It's kind of they call it a gyp board, but it's a real hard gypsum insulation board. And that makes it safer to walk on. You're not gonna mash anything down. And then they come over and put a 60 mil thermoplastic coating over it. And then that's welded together with heat. The hospital out here's got, it's an all white roof when you look at it. That's basically what that is a TPO roof. And it's really hail resistant, it's ding resistant, more so than other forms of roof. And the 60 mil's got a 20-year warranty on it. They sell an 80 mil, which has a 30-year warranty, but for the price difference, you could almost look at replacing that roof earlier, the price difference between the 60 and 80 mil. But they're supposed to be getting, the Coriel I know is giving me a price on all of it. Do you you want a 20-year warranty roof? Do you want a 30-year warranty